All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. I'm Miss Erica, the Teacher Lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, on this segment of the Teacher Lady Show, we have our Behind the Book review, which is where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. I let you know how to utilize the book that we read as a resource to have more robust conversations and discussions with your little one. In today's Behind the Book review, we will be going over how to stop freaking out, the ultimate guide to keeping cool when life feels chaotic. Now, this is not a traditional picture book. I would say it's good for children about 8 years old and up, but it does fit perfectly with our theme of this week, which is body acceptance, body positivity, loving your body, and understanding your body. And this book hits the nail on the head when it comes to that last one. This guide really is a resource to help your child better understand their emotions, better understand the changes in their body. And if they know that, then they will have an easier time with loving and accepting themselves, okay? If you have not done so, be sure to check out the read aloud on this first, which is chapter 5 of this book, and then come right back here for the Behind the Book review. You ready? Let's grow. Summary in my own words. This book, How to Stop Freaking Out, is really this kind of guide or resource of all these different things that our bodies go through. And so the goal of this book is to have a resource that says, I'm feeling anxious. Why? What do I do with that feeling? Or hair is growing in a strange place. Why? Is that normal? It really is kind of this overall resource to help children to normalize and understand their body. One of the things that I've noticed being an educator is how much we have moved away from this topic. So we don't have a lot of classes on the human body, on how the human body works, on self-regulating the human body, which makes it harder for us to love our bodies, which is the topic for all this week, okay? Chapters for this book include what is a freak out anyway, how to figure out if you're freaking out, why do we freak out, getting to know your buttons and what makes them light up, listening to your body and your buttons, where there's a button, there's a pusher. That's a good one. How to make your buttons harder to push, how to calm down after you freak out anyway. And chapter 9 is putting it all together, and there are also additional resources in the back. Super practical, very helpful, and insightful. All right? The take-home message and the recommended age group for the story. So the take-home message is truly that we all experience these things with our bodies. We will all experience change and aging and being different sizes. We'll all experience anxiety or nervousness or fears or emotions. We'll all experience triggers or our buttons being pushed or not understanding a situation. It really is a way to, one, normalize some of the things that we're embarrassed or ashamed of around our body, and then for two, find practical ways to combat some of those negative feelings, okay? So the take-home message is truly that you are not as unique as you think in terms of your body and what it's experiencing, and here are some ways to be able to help you as you navigate life. In terms of age group, I may have touched on it, but I would say 8 years old and up. They can read it themselves or you can read it to them, but I feel like children who are 8, maybe some 7-year-olds, would really be able to get some of the messages and just tools. The book is just full of tools, which is really, really needed. Who is this book for and who should add it to their home library? So this book really is for everybody, okay? Y'all know I say staple books, and staple books is a book that you should have in your library that you can easily build other books around it. And this is one of them because even as an adult, when I read this book, there were so many things that I did not consider. One of the things that really stood out in chapter 5, neuroscientists estimate that people think about 70,000 thoughts every single day. That's a whole lot of power going to your buttons, and it doesn't even include your feelings and body sensations. So I didn't know that. There's a lot that I'm reading even as an adult that I did not know about my body. And I think there's so much frustration when you don't understand your body, when you don't understand what's going on, when you don't get why something feels sore or why you're exhausted or what you're allergic to. When you don't understand yourself, your own triggers, and your own emotions, it is hard. And so I don't have like a specific person who should get the book because I feel like the book is extremely valuable universally. Like these are things that we all experience as human beings and that we should all understand as human beings.
Glows, what I think was done well.
I have a lot of glows for this book. I really do feel like it is a book that is helping with the fact that our curriculum is changing about the topic. One of the glows is the way in which the author adds in so many practical tools to combat the things that we face. Okay, so she has all of these techniques like checking in from head to toe with your body, what feels sore, what feels exhausted. Do you need to speak with someone? The book really is full of reminders to take care of yourself. And that is a glow because we're not taught how to take care of ourselves.
This book has so many glows. I found it to be extremely special because one of the things that we're doing away with in schools is teaching about the topic of body autonomy and anatomy. We're moving away from talking about our feelings and our emotions, what's going on with our anxiety and frustrations, emotional regulation, so many other things that the book teaches. We actually don't learn about in schools. And because of that, we have to supplement. And so, one of the goals is that this is the perfect resource to be able to supplement the information that your child is not receiving. It's also a glow because it really is universal when it comes to information that we should all have access to. Like all of us get angry. All of us get exhausted. All of us get hungry. Yet and still, we don't really know what to do with those emotions, right? There are some obvious ones of hunger where, like, if you're hungry and you're able to eat, go eat. But there are some other ones that are not as obvious. Like, what do you do when you're in flight or flight mode? Or how does your brain handle situations that are new when your brain doesn't actually know how to resolve it? And so it really touches on these practical ways to be able to get through the day-to-day things that everybody experiences. And then the last glow is really the language and the word choice. I feel like when you're talking about a topic as robust as this one, with all of the layers of like anxiousness and fear and bodily changes and so on and so forth, it's difficult to write in a way that a child understands, okay, for a topic like this. But Dr. Carla did such an amazing job at that. She kept the book very conversational, so it feels like you're kind of talking to a friend or a doctor. She added in fun facts. Even though it's not a picture book, there are little cartoon images to try to keep the child more engaged. So many glows when it comes to this story. So many ways to utilize it as a resource. And just overall, I feel like it is a book that is needed because we're missing it when it comes to our school education. Grows. This one is easy because I don't have any. I truly feel like Dr. Carla came in, she gave us the information, she got out. She came to do exactly what it was that she intended to do as the author of this book. It really is a guide to all the changes and differences in our body. That is what the book is. It has practical tools. It has techniques that we can utilize to calm our breathing down or calm our anxiousness down. It has explanations of trickier words or things that we don't understand. It has fun facts from scientists. So there's so much in there that I could not find an area of growth. Excellent work. Super needed resource, and glad that I was able to find it. Discussion points to have with your child. This one is a bit easier than most weeks because this book really is a guide that helps you to utilize it as a resource with your child. Like, it's automatically there. So if I open up any page in this book, move your body. I know you already know this, but it's so important that I'm going to say it again. Your feelings live in your body, and moving your body helps your feelings move, loosen up, and lighten up. Also, if your attention is focused on moving your body, you're way less likely to be all caught up in your thoughts. So walk, hula hoop, hop, go down the stairs, do jumping jacks, or go back to that awesome song you were listening to and get in your groove. Okay, so this is a tip on what to do when your buttons are being pushed. Now, you can easily read that paragraph with your child and say, what is your favorite type of movement? For me, I know working in the office when I've been sitting all day, I love a good stretch and a good move, or I can use a dance and really bring them into the fold of what movements help you to feel more grounded. And they might say, I don't know. And then you can try some. You know, you can do a Simon Says, or you can do a mirror exercise where you lead it with different movements of the body and then they copy you and then you copy them. This book is based and written in a way that you're able to hold a discussion with your child, that as you're reading, you pause, you share, they share. And if you do that throughout the book, not only will it help both of you to learn so many things about your body, but it'll also help you as the grown-ups to better understand your child or your students. If you're an educator, you or your students or clients, if you're a counselor, it just helps. So to utilize it as a resource to have a more robust conversation, literally read and have a conversation. Read, pause, and talk. Read, pause, and talk. And I promise you, you will learn something new about yourself. You will also learn something new about your child. And just overall, it's already here. All right. She made my job easy on this one. Final thoughts. So my final thoughts are that we cannot truly teach loving our bodies and self-acceptance of our bodies and the changes of our bodies and the blemishes of our bodies. We can't truly get to that concept until we better understand our bodies. And that starts with education. And so this book helps to be able to do that, because once I know, being angry is a normal feeling, that is a regular feeling, but this is how I combat that, because it's not normal to just stay angry. It's not normal to just be tense all day. So here are some tools to be able to combat that. Once I can do that, I can get to the, wow, I love myself even when I'm angry, and I love my body even when it changes. I can get to the other parts. There are levels and there are steps. So the more that we understand our body, the more that we can give it what we need, and the more we can truly fall in love with it. Start with this book if it's age appropriate, if it's appropriate for your child in terms of them being neurotypical or neurodivergent. If it works for your family, be sure to pick it up in the link below. Also, I am an author and illustrator. Be sure to check out my children's books, as well as our Pay It Forward program, which is called the Empathy Library, which has a mission of getting intentional books to children who need them at no cost to them by way of your generosity. So check out the Pay It Forward program. Be sure to check out the chapter that I read on this book. And until next time, remember to enjoy the moment, or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.